Oh, powerful. Yeah, with all this video equipment, like I really should be using something better to film it, but you know what? Sometimes you just need a phone on a tripod and that's, maybe that's good enough. The reason I'm making this video is the last 2 years have been very interesting. I'm gonna try to keep this video as short as possible, but I might ramble on a little bit. So essentially I started getting into video production, and I have the podcast running, and I do need to focus more on the podcast. I have so many people that want to come on and so many cool people that I want to come on and talk about stuff, but I just haven't had the time, and I'll explain that in like 2 seconds. Some people, like my close friends and people that I talk to every day, you guys already know I've been insanely busy the last 2 years building my company. For anybody who hasn't seen it yet, PremStream is the big thing that I've been working on for the last 2 years. And what PremStream is, it's a streaming platform to enable pay-per-view for events that don't necessarily fit the mold of the big pay-per-view providers, right? So it's not, I wouldn't say it's a replacement for the current avenues that exist, but it's a very cost-effective way to take a live event, take the pay-per-view model and apply that to your event, as well as enable profit sharing for the athletes and the other people involved in the event. And before I even go too far into that, I want to kind of start at the beginning. So I worked on, I was a last minute replacement to do a live streaming event about 2 years ago. And I was brought in because I have the podcast and I just happened to have a bunch of equipment that was, useful to do. I could do a live stream event at, very short notice at very low cost. And this is the first time I've ever done something like this. And when I was doing the research on, this is the event, this is what's happening, how do I go about, implementing the whole pay-per-view stream and everything? And when I started to look at what was available at the time, I didn't really like the options. Like things were either way too expensive, or there was a lot of red tape into getting on a platform. And anyone who's looked at, look at the big pay-per-view platforms, in order to get your event on there, there's a lot of red tape. You can't just go click a button, sign up and throw your event up there, right? Like there's more to it. And I don't want to get into the financials of all that stuff, because anybody wants to go that route, you'll figure that out. But I looked at all the options that were available, and I looked at how the event that I was helping, how they were doing it, and I kind of thought, man, like there has to be a better way, right? There has to be something that doesn't have this extreme upfront cost, that's literally click and play, right? Like, this is my event, this is what it looks like, this is my landing page, get the money, put the money in the bank account, everything is just click of a button. Like, there has to be something like this. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and I could not find the platform that I was envisioning in my head. So, and at this time, and I believe YouTube is kind of going in and out of the pay-per-view type model, like they are kind of doing something. But at the time, YouTube had discontinued all of their pay-per-view type model streaming and video sales, saying they essentially weren't making enough money and it wasn't worth their effort. And at the time, there was actually an article written out by someone at YouTube that explained how services like the super chatting and things like that were more cost-effective ways to extract money from users, right? I think that's the wording that they used in that article. I could be wrong. So I spent about, I would say, again, we did the event, we did the live streams. Things went okay. Like it was, there were some hiccups. Again, at the time, I'd never done something like this before. This was literally on like 3 days notice. 3 days notice, I, set up some software on my laptop, threw some camera rigs together, had a couple late nights, did some tests to see if I could live stream this in a certain way, bought a couple tripods, bought a couple additional mics to kind of handle some of the stuff. And we set it up, and I think it went pretty well, all things considered. But again, I wasn't happy with the way that the software in the background, everything was set up, right? I wasn't happy with the way that the sales of the pay-per-view had to be made, and I wasn't happy with the way that the money had to be transferred. And again, when it comes to pay-per-view sales and it comes to YouTube monetization and whatnot, the money is always kind of a sensitive thing, right? And people don't really want to talk about it. And another big problem is if you're on a platform like YouTube and you have users that are paying for your content, right? Like the YouTube Premium membership subscription service. Are those users really your users, right? Are those people that, belong to you? Like, you created the content, you got the people to go to visit your content. Yes, YouTube does enable that, right? But if YouTube ever decides to cut you off, another plan, and I'm not saying just YouTube, I'm saying any platform, if they decide to cut you off, you don't know who those users are, right? The users don't really have a connection with the content creator in the way that you would think that they should, right? Like, a lot of these platforms essentially have a guarded wall around their users. Like, these are our users, you're just the content creators, and you get to share our users through a platform, but they don't really belong to you, right? Like, the sales or everything is very obfuscated, right? But anyways, I don't want to go too much into detail on that. I might go on a couple rambles in this, so maybe I'll cut some of this out. Maybe I'll just keep the rambles in. I don't know what I'm doing right now. But anyways, so that aside, I just wasn't happy with it. And I consulted with a few friends. So just a bit of my background. I think I would consider myself a serial entrepreneur. Like, I've worked on a lot of different companies. And I built a handful of companies from the ground up. And I always liked the idea of being able to build something and having other people use it, right? Like, all my jobs that I've had, it's always been a part of that. That's the part that keeps me to that work, and that's the part I get satisfaction from, is building something that's cool, that I consider cool, and then having other people use it and enjoying it to the point where they are okay paying money to use this thing that I made, right? And I really enjoy doing that. I think it's great. And I was looking and looking and looking, and I couldn't find this platform that I envisioned that, like, I thought should exist. So again, I consulted some friends of mine, and we kind of took a little bit of a deep dive and looked at the market and seen the products that are available that, could be potentially in that realm that kind of covered this criteria that I had set out, right? And since then, since starting PremStream, there have been a few competitors that have come up that are kind of doing it a little bit, but they're still not. They still don't have what we have, and I'll get into all this hopefully near the end of the video. So I decided to build a prototype. I spent my goal was 3 months. My goal was like, okay, I have 3 months. This is the criteria that I want. I'm gonna build a prototype for this. And at the time, I was working with someone who had plans to put an event on. And then unfortunately, things happened, and we weren't seeing eye to eye, and we kind of separated ways. So the stuff that I was building for that particular event was no longer being used for that event. And I was like, well, you know what? I still want this. Like, I think this is a cool product. So we had a couple of small pilots, so a couple of private ones that were never, I don't think you can see them on the site. And then we did a small event that was kind of the first public event, which was at the Ottawa Highlanders Club. We had some inside matches, or some like internal matches between some of our guys, and some guys came from outside to from different clubs to compete. And I think we did, I think we had something really cool there, and we just wanted to test the model, right? And at the time, the model was essentially a paid event where people had to pay to get access to the content, and the money was easily extracted and then either given to, split between the athletes or whatever, or the other things that we had planned. But what we ended up doing is we turned the event into kind of a fundraiser. So the clubhouse needed a bit of work, and essentially all the profits from the event went directly to the clubhouse. So I had some small costs that we agreed on, that like, because this is going to cost money to do this and it's money out of my pocket, so we covered most of that, but not quite all of it. But the rest of the money went all towards the clubhouse, which I think everybody was pretty happy with. That it was really awesome, and the matches were great. We actually got Popeyes to come in and sponsor the event, so like everyone who competed got a loot bag and some clothes. So it turned out to be really awesome. After the event was done, we kind of reevaluated. We're like, okay, well, was this a success, right? We kind of evaluated all the metrics, and we're obviously, it was kind of the first public event. We were expecting things to go wrong. Not that many things went wrong. Like overall, the event was really smooth. Like people were really satisfied with the quality of the stream. We had more people probably watch it than we anticipated, which is great, right? We added a couple features, cleaned up a few things, and then we had a couple of other events after that, kind of moving up. And I started to get people approaching me saying, hey, we hear you're working on this like pay-per-view platform. Could you show me what this does? And again, this is early stages. So this is probably within the first, I would say 5 months, maybe 6 months of building the product. And I demoed this thing to probably 6 or 7 promotions. Some of them arm wrestling, like a lot of them not. And every single person who saw what we were building essentially said, like, this is awesome. Like, this is way better than all these other solutions that we've used. And one of the people that we demoed it to, he had run a lot of events, and he had pretty much used everything out there. Everything from, the big name brand pay-per-view platforms, everything down to, the self-hosted, embed them into your website type things. And he essentially looked over everything and he said, if this is what I think it could be, he essentially was like, I want in on this. Like, I want to be a part of where this is going. And, we talked to a few other people that essentially gave us the same feedback. Like, the feedback was always the same. Like, if this can do what you're saying it can do, and if it's as easy as what you just showed me, the same thing was being said over and over again. Like, you guys are really, really onto something. So moving forward, we had a couple of more events after that. And, again, a couple of hiccups here and there, but we never released it to the public, right? It was always, I would give people access to it. I would demo how it would work, right? And then I would give them access to it. They'd go in and they could self-manage their event. And at the time, I was also helping out with a lot of production. So and again, at this time, I'm not just building PremStream. I'm traveling all over the place. I'm helping events, do all kinds of live streaming and production stuff. And, some of them I was making really good money, and some of them I was just helping out friends, right? And just trying to do whatever I could to make sure that they're running cool events, right? And as time goes on, we kept working on PremStream, and we realized that, like, what we have here is something really cool and is something really novel that can enable a lot of different people to do paid video streaming events, right? And the future of PremStream is not just that. The future, there's a bunch of things that we're working on behind the scenes that are going to allow people to do free content as well. But the project or the application or website, the stage that it's at right now is at the point where we're just about ready to release it to everybody and just let people just go nuts and start using it. And just as we were kind of getting ready to release it, we were approached by the Knuckles Up guys. I think Ian Carnegie, respect, is it? We're in Max swag right now. Actually, he gave me a really cool loot bag the other day with all kinds of stuff. Maybe I'll throw it up here. You can see a video of me. I was gonna make a video of me opening it all, but then my dog started rolling all in it, and then I had to go to practice, so I wasn't able to. So maybe I'll scoot over a little bit, and I'll just put it up here so you can see it. This stuff looks awesome. Like, I don't know if this turns out on camera properly, but this is actually like gold. It's like sparkling and stuff. It's not just yellow. But anyways, getting derailed here. So we chatted with the Knuckles Up guys. I think Chris was the guy I originally talked to. This is at the MAC event. So we had just done a very successful arm wrestling event, and that was the MAC event, so the Major Arm Wrestling Championships. And this is the first event. I think it was a great success. Like, the matches were awesome. The production was great. We did have one hiccup that had nothing to do with the platform, but that was because we had a lot of equipment in a corner. Some stuff was overheating, so we had to bring a fan in there to kind of make sure that it wasn't. But again, that has nothing to do with PremStream itself. That was an issue on the production side. But yeah, so we talked to the Knuckles Up guys, and I think what they're doing is awesome. In my opinion, I believe that Knuckles Up has probably the best quality production as far as arm wrestling goes. That's my opinion. I know some people will say, there are some other ones that, do something a little better or have different athletes. In my opinion, I think what they're doing is just amazing. I think the big TV screen is great. The camera angles are great. Like, everything is just good. So they have a top notch production. And, we chatted, and, they're doing the pay-per-view model, and they were interested in what PremStream was doing. So I gave them a demo, and they were super happy, super excited to jump on. So I'm sure some people have already seen, but right now you can get the Knuckles Up event on PremStream. That's next Saturday. So I'll put the link down in the description. Honestly, these are some of the nicest guys that I've met. These guys are great. They're literally doing it just for the sport. They're spending all kinds of time and money on getting this like super high level, high quality event. And I believe that, the way that we're going to stream the event is going to be, it's going to be awesome. It's really going to be something special. Their next event is going to be on PremStream. It is on PremStream right now. And we've added a few things specifically to kind of accommodate what they want for their event. And it's done nothing but make the platform so much better. So right now, we do have a live chat. So the live chat is still kind of in beta. So there might be some hiccups as far as the live chat goes, but we've done a lot of testing on it. It does look like it's pretty cool. Like, it essentially is very similar to how the YouTube chat works. There's some moderation. So if people get too crazy, there are ways to get you booted out of there, unfortunately. It's not a no holds barge. But the other cool thing about PremStream is the users that go to an event. So if you're an event organizer, all users that get your event, those users belong to you, right? Like, yeah, they have a PremStream account, but the contact information for those users, is available to you. You have the ability to reach out directly to the individuals that have purchased your event, right? And that's all in the terms of use. And I know for some users that they might feel a little bit uneasy, thinking like, oh, well, I'm not really comfortable sharing my contact information. The terms of use and the terms of the platform don't allow people to start spamming you and distributing your emails and whatnot. There's a zero tolerance for that. If any company ever goes in and starts to freely distribute any kind of information, like user information, that's the end of it. And potentially there could be legal actions to that as well, right? So, there is some trust there, but I believe with the people that we're going to let on, I believe that it's well worth it. And here's the thing. If you believe in an event, if you're buying a pay-per-view from someone, right? I think it's a good thing to have that level of trust to allow them to reach out to you, right? But from a content creator standpoint, that there's a lot of power in that, right? So like, here's the thing. PremStream is awesome. what we offer is awesome. But if for whatever reason you're not satisfied, you don't have to go to another platform and start over. The people that have purchased your content, you have access to those people and reach out like, hey, listen, we're doing this here now, right? Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully PremStream is able to add enough value in surplus that it doesn't make sense to leave to go use another platform, right? So from an event organizer perspective, you get access to your users directly. The users belong to you, and we're offering some very, very, very next level analytics as far as traffic being generated to your event, sales conversion rates, the ability to do rev share. Like, there's all these cool things that we're working on and that we're doing right now that I think for a lot of people it should make it a no-brainer, right? I can't talk too much yet. I'll make another video specifically talking about all of the things PremStream offers and all the things that's coming in the future. But as of right now, the ability to create a pay-per-view, connect your bank account, so like all the money goes directly to your bank account minus the fees. The fees are lower than, as of right now, the fees might have to go up at some point. Right now, I just want people to kind of use it, and I want people to be able to be as profitable as possible, right? That's one thing that I've noticed helping a lot of events on the production side and on just the planning side of things. The amount of events that get to the point, and I'm not talking arm wrestling events, like this is combat sports events in general, the amount of events that get to the point right before they're able to actually release to the public that fall apart, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's been at least 4 big events that we're planning on using PremStream that we were on the verge of making these like awesome announcements for, that were like, these would have shocked people. Like these would have been pretty wild. And again, these are not arm wrestling ones. These were in other sports, and they fell apart literally right before we could make the announcements, and the events never materialized. So that's unfortunate, but it hasn't stopped us. We're moving forward, and I'm so excited. Like, so many people have worked so hard. So the company is, I was the one who started it. I was the one who built most of the platform myself. But without the help of the people that have jumped in and, kind of taken on certain roles and, really helped get PremStream to where it is right now, I'm so appreciative of. And I think it'll all be worth it at the end of the day. I think what we're building here is something really, really special. So I'll probably make another video talking about like exactly what everything PremStream does, but to kind of summarize it, PremStream has been in the works for about 2 years now. It's a really, really cool streaming platform. You have the ability to stream. I believe we can do 4K. We haven't done a lot of 4K events now. 1080, 60, very high bit rate. The second the stream is done, the second the stream goes down, all you have to do is press one button on the admin panel, and the entire replay is available for you to view right away. Instantaneous. Like, it's instant. You have access to all the users yourself, and as far as a user, we've tried to make it as seamless and easy as possible. To buy an event, you literally put your email address in or log in, you go into the event, press buy, put your information in. Right now, all of the payment information is going through Stripe. We don't hold any payment information ourselves. That's all hosted elsewhere. Stripe takes care of all that. We are in the works of adding different payment methods like PayPal and crypto and some other ones. But yeah, Stripe is the preferred one for us at the moment. Super easy. Put your payment stuff in. You get access to your content right away. If the stream's not live yet, you go to the page, you see a countdown timer until the stream goes live. Content creators have the ability to add specific content just for people that have purchased the stream. So if they want, they can put like behind the scenes footage there, literally whatever video content or text content or any kind of content they want to put behind that paywall, they can put there. It doesn't necessarily have to be just the stream. The countdown for the stream goes, as soon as the stream goes live, the stream is there. You have access to everything. If the chat is enabled, you have the ability to open that up. You can chat with other users that are currently watching the same stream. And Bob's your uncle. If if you decide to buy it a couple days before, you have the ability to go through email address. You can click on the access content link. It'll get you there. In the My Content section or in the My Order section, you can see everything you've ordered in the past. Right now, everything you've ordered is there permanently, but eventually content creators will have the ability to only make the content available for a certain amount of time. But I believe there's some value into like letting your users hold on to the content and being able to go back and revisit it, right? It's super clean, it's super easy, and I believe it's going to change the way that pay-per-views are working in the future. Not just paid pay-per-view content. I think some of the things that we're working on that are going to come out in probably the next 6 months have the ability to change the way that content and sporting events are streamed live. So I'm so excited. I'm so pumped to where this journey's kind of taken me. It's always hard when you're starting a new business. It's there's a lot of late nights, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of doubt, a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of grit, right? Like you need a lot of grit sometimes, especially with a product that you can't just spin up and have fully working within like a couple of days or a couple weeks or a couple months. With something that takes about 2 years plus to build with a small team, it takes it takes some grit and some perseverance to push through and kind of make it to the finish line. And PremStream is at the point now where the finish line's there. Like we're just about ready to open it up to the public and give other people access to it. If anybody wants to get access to it before we actually open it up, which will probably be within the next month or so, by all means, reach out to me. Instagram is probably the easiest way to contact me. You can leave a comment too, and we can figure out how to touch base. But send me a private message on Instagram is probably the easiest way to reach out. But yeah, just to sum things up, this is going on way longer. I was hoping to do this in 5-10 minutes, right? I'm so excited. I'm so excied for where PremStream is going. I'm so excited for Knuckles Up. The High Five guys, like their event is going to be something special, I believe. So if you want to support me, you want to support PremStream, the guys working on PremStream, you want to support Knuckles Up, they're going through their own perseverance right now. They're really pushing through some stuff to get this event to where it is. Click the link below, get yourself access to pay-per-view, and maybe give me one of these in the comments. Thank you so much, guys. Much appreciated. We'll talk soon.